Have you ever stared at a chaotic warehouse, or maybe just a completely messy spreadsheet of stock, and thought, how on earth do I turn this into perfect, reliable accounting data? Honestly, it's a massive headache for businesses everywhere. Trying to manually track exactly what you bought, what you sold, and what your current stock is actually worth, well, that's just a recipe for disaster. But today, we're going to fix that.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking all that messy data and streamlining it using one of the most robust systems out there, Tally ERP9. We'll be walking through the exact workflows outlined by Dr. Saifuddin to show you how Tally takes all that organizational chaos and turns it into pure order.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, configuring your Tally environment. Second, mastering units of measure. Third, recording purchases and sales. And finally, FIFO and stock reports. Let's dive right in.
Section 1. Configuring your Tally environment.
Okay, so there's a really important contrast between the two main control panels we have here. On one side, we've got the F11 inventory features. Think of this as your company-wide command center. This is where you can integrate accounts and inventory, enable invoicing, or even allow for a separate discount column in your invoices. But on the other side, we have the F12 master configuration. While F11 turns features on for the whole company, F12 dictates the specific data fields you can actually enter when you're creating masters.
The crucial thing to remember here is that pressing F12 essentially acts as your primary toolkit. If you don't tell Tally in the F12 master configuration that you want to use, say, alternate units for your stock items, or that you want to provide part numbers, well, those fields simply won't appear on your screen later on. You have to activate them right here first to capture that vital information.
Moving on to Section 2, Mastering Units of Measure.
Think about how this actually works in the real world. You might buy sugar in massive 50-kilogram sacks, but sell it in tiny 1-kilogram packets, right? Well, Tally handles this beautifully. You have simple units, like kilograms or pieces, but then you can build compound and alternate units. A compound unit links two simple units together. For example, a box of 10 kilograms. This means you can process bulk purchases and granular sales without the math getting all mangled up.
To actually set this up, the click path is super straightforward. You start at the gateway of Tally, you go to Inventory Info, select Units of Measure, and hit Create. From there, you simply specify if it's a simple unit or a compound unit and define the conversion rate. Mentally mapping out this exact flow is key to moving quickly through the software. And here's a really neat trick. Once you're in your stock summary report, you can hit F12 to configure the view and set Show Tail Units of Compound Units to Yes. Tally will then display your remaining stock in the absolute lowest unit of measure. So you aren't just left guessing what fraction of a bulk box you have left, you get ultimate precision.
All right, Section 3, recording purchases and sales.
Tally relies heavily on keyboard shortcuts to keep you moving fast. From the accounting voucher screen, F9 is your dedicated key for purchase vouchers, and F8 brings up your sales vouchers. The magic here is that once your ledgers are tied to your inventory, you just enter the item, the quantity, and the rate, and boom! Tally instantly auto-calculates the final values.
Now, if you press F12 while in the purchase entry, you get this specific configuration menu. Notice the other options down at the bottom. You can set it to Warn on Negative Stock Balance. This is a massive safety net. Tally will literally stop you and warn you if a transaction would push your inventory into the negative, completely preventing disastrous data entry errors.
When you're actually using that F9 purchase voucher, say to buy potatoes, you just select the party account as the bank account, route it to the purchase ledger, and select the item. Once you punch in the quantity and the rate, Tally does all the heavy lifting on the math. It's clean, it's fast, and it links your financial accounts directly to your physical stock.
Similarly, for the F8 sales voucher, let's say we're selling 300 kilograms of sugarcane for cash. Notice the column headers: quantity, rate, and amount. But remember back in Section 1 when we looked at F11 features? If you needed to, you could have activated a separate discount column, and it would neatly slide right into this grid, automatically adjusting the final total.
Which brings us to Section 4, FIFO and stock reports.
To really grasp our final report, we just need a quick refresher on FIFO, first in, first out. It's an inventory valuation method where we assume the absolute oldest stock you purchased is the very first stock that you sell or issue. This is absolutely critical for calculating the true value of the goods you still have sitting on the shelf. Let's walk through this chronological mini-narrative from our source data. Throughout January, a business is buying and issuing material. On Jan 1, they buy 600 kilograms at 16 taka. On Jan 8, they buy 700 kilograms at 17 taka. Then on Jan 14, they issue 900 kilograms. So how does Tally value that issue? Using FIFO, it takes the entire 600 kilograms from the oldest batch on Jan 1, and then grabs the remaining 300 kilograms from the Jan 8 batch.
And here is the final polished result. Looking at the outwards column for that January 14th issue of 900 kilograms of milk powder, you can see Tally did all the FIFO math completely behind the scenes. It took 600 kilos at 16 and 300 kilos at 17, combining them into a total value of 14,700. That gives an automatic blended issue rate of 16.33. It executed the logic perfectly, leaving a clean closing balance of 300 kilos at 18 taka. And the best part? You didn't have to calculate any of that.
So, just to recap this whole journey from a blank slate to a fully automated system. You start by turning the right dials in the F11 and F12 control settings. You set up flexible units of measure to match reality. You use F8 and F9 for lightning-fast automated invoicing. And finally, Tally instantly rewards you with accurate automated FIFO valuation reports.
It absolutely transforms how you look at your warehouse. By taking these exact steps, the chaos just disappears, replaced by structured, actionable data. So the question I'll leave you with today is this. Are you ready to let Tally do the heavy lifting, apply these steps, and finally take total control of your inventory data? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.